Hey, good morning, YouTube. It's Sunday. It's 5:30 a.m. and I figured I'd record a video diary of what it's like to move to another country. For those of you that don't know, we're moving to Portugal in, I think, 58 days. And there are a lot of videos that give an unrealistic depiction of relocating, and they don't really give you the nitty-gritty. And I think this is going to be a good perspective for those of you that are thinking about it. So this is going to be a real talk video. So let's start with how I'm doing. It's 5:45, I think, on a Sunday. I woke up at about 4:30. I didn't know what day of the week it was. And that's probably more because I'm retired, but I woke up because I was in a bit of a anxious spiral because it's a scary proposition to move to another country. And for me, it's not so much the cultural differences, and it's not so much even moving, because I've moved a lot personally. I'm one of those kids that moved every year as a kid. But for me, it's just logistics. The challenge for us is we have this apartment we just signed the lease on. It's empty. We got it unfurnished. And so we're going to fly in and we're going to have this empty apartment. And no beds, no furniture, no food. I think we'll have utilities and phone hooked up because that comes with part of our relocation package. You know, the scary thing to have to think about, like, what are we going to do? I'm guessing we're going to have to get an Airbnb for at least a few days so we have a place to land while we get set up. But it's stuff like that. Unless you're a experienced international mover, I guess an expat or slow traveler, it's not something that most people have to deal with. I mean, like I said, I've moved around a lot. I can move from point A to point B in the States very easily. I know exactly how to do that. I know what that entails. I've loaded up my car with all my worldly possessions and driven cross country and set up a home somewhere else. When you're in familiar territory and you have friends and family in the country, that makes it a bit easier, but it makes it a lot easier, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, we're basically moving to a country where we really don't know people. We have a few contacts, and we have the relocation agency, and they'll give us guidance on where to get some help, but it's not the same. Excuse me, I just sneezed. Ooh, excuse me. So there's that. You're gonna have some sleepless, so there's that. You're gonna have some sleepless nights for sure. If you're not, you're doing it wrong. And let's talk about family dynamics. I think it's safe to say that if there are any issues in your family dynamic or your relationship dynamic, kids, partner, what have you, moving internationally is not going to help. It's going to put more stress on you. It's going to make you more anxious and more snippy, I guess, for some people. And it's important to know that. It's important to acknowledge that and just accept it and keep moving. And to keep moving, I mean, this house is a wreck. I'm a person that likes to have things put away and in their place, and we're not in that state at all. I'm looking at 2 cat carriers we have out because we need to train our cats to travel. These are 2 house cats. They like being at home. They like sticking their nose outside once in a while, but you get them in the car, they are moaning and groaning, maybe they'll vomit. They do not like travel. And so the thought of driving them to the airport and putting them under the seat and flying internationally for 6 hours, God forbid there's turbulence, it's going to be a daunting journey for them. And I feel bad for them. So we have the cat carriers out to remind us to put them in the car every couple of days so they get used to traveling a little bit at least, because they have very little experience traveling. We've never taken them RVing for that reason. And yeah, that's one more thing we have to deal with. Not just the logistics of the paperwork and shipping and vaccinations and scheduling for the cats, but just the fact that they're not going to enjoy it and it's going to be stressful for us. So, nice cats. And the major topic that's top of mind for us is basically, what are we taking? What are we selling? What are we donating? We've already donated probably half of the stuff that we have already, just to get the house ready for staging and going on the market. Now that the house is in contract, we have to get rid of the rest of it. Luckily, the buyers of the house want some of the things that we have, so that reduces the overwhelm. But we have stuff in closets, in totes, in boxes. I'm a tech nerd, so I've basically got every phone and camera and electronic doodad going back 20 years in a drawer somewhere. So I have to get it out of the closets and put things out and organize and figure out what we're going to do. We have to figure out what we're going to do. We're considering engaging an estate sale company, but frankly, the concern is since we got rid of so much stuff, it's just not worth it for them to do the job. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Yeah, there are a lot of lessons learned with the whole decluttering and moving thing. I'm going to have to jot them all down and maybe I'll put them in a blog post or something just so the next person doesn't make the same mistakes we did. This is probably sounding more negative than usual, but again, I don't recall seeing very many videos where people shared the sleepless nights, the arguments, the stress, the overwhelm, the fear of moving internationally. It's definitely something to think about. And let's talk about money, right? That's another thing people don't really talk about unless they have very little, and usually the message is, I wasn't able to make it in the States, but I moved to this country and now I'm happy as can be and I live on the beach. And that's terrific. And that's one of the things that perked my ears at first in terms of, I guess they call that location arbitrage. Basically, you change your location and your finances change just because, for the better. That's great. But when you're moving internationally, you need to have some money. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everything is hundreds or thousands of dollars. Even the cats, I was shocked at how much they're costing. I think it's going to run $2,000 for both cats, which is crazy to me, especially because there's so many stray cats in Portugal. I'm sure it's crazy to the Portuguese too. So yeah, you're definitely going to need some money to fund this international relocation. My guidance is, if you have the money, find a good relocation agency. They will save your ass more than once. Ours has saved our asses at least 3 times. If I had done it myself, I would have made some mistakes and it would have delayed or caused a lot more stress or more expense. So if you can swing it, you want a relocation agency. Then there's the shipping. Luckily, we're in New Jersey and there's a very well-known import-export business here in New Jersey, and they do shipments for people that want to move to Portugal. If you don't live in the New Jersey area, there are obviously international moving companies. You're definitely talking thousands of dollars. And on top of that, a lot of things you might want to bring are just not going to work in Portugal. I was very saddened to find out that my very nice Italian espresso machine, ironically, won't work in Portugal. It's wired for US. It's a high wattage appliance because of the boiler. I just sold it, and it was one of the few things that I was really hoping to bring because it's a tank and it was one of those buy it for life purchases, but it's in a better place. So you really want to edit what you're going to bring. First you have to find out if the thing you want to bring will even work in Portugal. But if it does, you really have to ask yourself, is it worth paying the shipping to bring it over? Is it that important? And the default answer should be no. I'm pretty good at editing, probably because of my childhood where we moved a lot. You can't be sentimental. You really can't. You have to be ruthless. You have to decide what's more important. Is the change of lifestyle and all that comes with it more important than these possessions that you're holding dear and that are holding you back? And there's friends and family. You're going to have some that resent that you're moving. I don't know if it's jealousy or sadness that they're not going to see you, or who knows, but you're going to have some not so positive reactions, let's say. Hopefully not too many. And then you're going to miss your friends and family, and they're going to tell you that too, especially if you've got kids. I think the kids are resilient, at least I was when I moved. But if you have kids, you tend to make friends with other parents and go through lots of experiences with your kids and milestones with your kids, and it'll be tough to say goodbye. You've grown to depend on each other for things related to your kids and sports and play dates and birthdays. You've seen your kids grow up together, and maybe they've indicated that they're going to miss each other. So it's something you really have to be prepared for, and you have to plan for it, and you have to say, hey, let's make sure you come and visit. Let's make sure, we stay in touch. Just because you're moving doesn't mean you have to never see each other again, especially with video conferencing being free now. There's really no reason not to set up regular calls so that you can keep each other updated and keep those friendships and relationships viable. But it's definitely something to think about. And one of the things I read, and what we're actually doing, is you want to have a proper send-off. Maybe it's a picnic or a barbecue or something, but you want to just mark the fact that you're going and give people a chance to give you hugs and say goodbye. But yeah, there's a lot of emotional processing that has to happen when you're moving internationally. And that's not really something you hear about. And I'm not even an emotional person, but I acknowledge that these things are definitely a factor in my life and in my family's life. And like I said, I haven't seen too many videos where people are expressing these realities of moving internationally. It's not just the logistics, it's not just the bureaucracy and the paperwork, it's also the emotional reckoning, it's also the fear and the anxiety, stepping into the unknown, all sorts of things that frankly hold people back and prevent people from doing what they want to do. And so you're going to make the move to do these things, but you're going to have to deal with these feelings and these experiences and these bouts of resistance. And you can't let that stop you. You have to put a line in the sand and just keep moving. Acknowledge the feelings, talk about them with your loved ones or a professional, and keep your eyes on the prize. That's all I can say. So a lot of rambling. I'm probably going to have to edit this down a whole lot. But yeah, that's my real talk about relocating internationally for you. Hope you found something useful from it. If you did, put it in the comments. If you have any questions, or if you moved internationally and you agree with me or you disagree, please share your comments. I love each and every comment, and I'll try to respond to them. So until the next one, thanks for watching.